Good morning. I'm gonna go over here, grab a piece of pine, and we're gonna talk about it. I wanted to talk about this since I was hanging out with a couple friends. They saw my wood piles, started telling me all this nonsense about, you know, you can't burn pine in your wood stove. So we're gonna talk about it. Piece of pine, I cut it the other day. If you guys have seen the video, it's drying right now. This one's not dry right now. You can tell it's a little bit heavy. It's wet. I think it rained 2 days ago, something like that. You know, this is eastern white pine. Pine is a softwood, some great BTUs. It burns hot and fast. A lot of people use it for outside burning. It smells really good. I love the smell of pine. But something I wanted to talk about, I was hanging out with some friends and they were looking at my wood stacks and they asked why I was burning pine inside and why am I not burning it outside, because it's gonna blow up my chimney or blow up my wood stove and create a typhoon, or I don't know, I'm just making that part up. But regardless, my friends were telling me that, and I told them I've burned pine, my father's burned pine, my grandfather's burned pine. There are parts, and sorry if you guys hear that in the background, they're doing some tree work. Grandfather burned pine, and there are people that all they have is just softwood. Pine, lodgepole pine, they have other various softwoods, Douglas fir, stuff like that. That's all they have. And you know, they're still heating their wood stoves in their house and they're doing all that. And the main thing with pine and any other wood is you just need to make sure it's seasoned. Less than 20% is what I considered seasoned. Make sure stacking it in a place where it can get tons of sun, tons of wind, and just let it season. That's it. You know, I've burned this in my wood stove. I've burned it for years. I've burned various amounts of pine. And the thing that I love about pine is that a lot of people hate it, and they will give it to you for free, among other woods. I mean, I generally get all my wood for free anyways from tree services. Tons of people will cut down a pine tree, stick it on the side of the road and say, hey, you can stick it in your boiler, you can burn it outside, whatever you want to do. And I'm not saying that it's bad to, you guys can hear that bird too, right? And I'm not saying it's bad to burn outside. I burn pine inside and outside. I basically burn whatever type of wood I can that's, you know, firewood. I don't like to burn pallets or anything like that in my wood stove, just because that's not something I like to do. And also I use the pallets anyways. You can burn pine inside. Bird clearly doesn't want me to make a video. You can burn pine inside. Just make sure it's seasoned. I personally cut it smaller because I use it to, if I throw a piece of wood that's not, you know, right there, it's not less than 20%, it might be like 22, 23%, I'll just throw a piece of pine under it, it will catch it, burn perfectly fine. But yeah, tons of people hate it. You know, I've been on like Reddit, I've been on YouTube, stuff like that. I've seen videos where people say, hey, you know, it's a really bad wood, you should not burn it. You should basically just chuck it in the woods or chuck it in your fire pit and just forget about it. And I think that's crazy. I mean, yes, it's not going to burn as long as, say, oak or ash or something, because it's a softwood. You can use it to get your fire going. You can use it to restart your fire. You can burn it purely if you want to do that. Just, if you are going to burn it purely, just make sure that it is seasoned 100%, not 100% moisture, but it's seasoned 100% and it's dry. And you can generally tell when wood's dry. I mean, it will be lighter, it will be grayish, and you can tell. I mean, you can tell when wood is seasoned. I mean, that's not an issue. If you are someone that hasn't been around wood a lot, and I still use it, I've been around wood for the majority of my life, but I still use moisture meters. They're great tools. You stick it in there, and the thing that you want to make sure of is that you cut the wood in half and test the split. When you test the split, it will tell you if it's, you know, 20%, 30%, 40%. I've gotten wood that's like 50% that was just cut down. That kind of wood I'll let season for like 2 years. You know, I want to make sure that's perfectly dry. Pine season's really quick. It's a really light wood, and you know, you stick it in a stack and give it, you know, I mean, you cut it in January, it should be ready by fall. You know, it seasons really quickly. You can burn it outside. I love doing that too. It smells nice, it pops. But I'll burn it inside all day long. You know, I never turn down free wood, and pine is perfectly fine. You know, you can just do tons of stuff with it. I mean, you know, you get pine trees from your Christmas tree. After our Christmas tree, if we have a, you know, a couple pieces of it that are nice, I'll just cut those up into firewood and use them. Pine, it's eastern white pine. I've gotten hemlock before. I think those are the two pines that I generally get if I do get pine. I cut them up into firewood pieces. These pieces are generally smaller than I would cut a piece. I'll actually show you a piece of wood that I would actually cut it into. This is maple. It's a pretty big piece of maple. The size I generally cut my wood at, you can see this one's a little bit smaller. The reason why I cut this one smaller is because pretty much half of this is going into my fire pit to burn up the extra stuff that I have, and the rest of it's getting burned inside. So, and I am burning it inside. I'm gonna go put this maple back, just burn this inside. You know, the whole myth about how it's just gonna blow up everything, you can only use it in boilers, it's just absurd, and it's not true. And the thing that people are associating it with is unseasoned wood. And yes, pine catches fast, it has resin, but you want to make sure that it's just seasoned. That's it. And yes, it's going to pop a little bit more than oak or maple or whatever, but it will burn perfectly fine. It will burn hot, bird again, it will burn fast. So that's just something you need to, you know, think of. If you put a bunch of pine in your wood stove, you know, don't expect it to burn for, you know, all 24 hours. I'll mix it in with stuff. I'll mix it in with oak and maple and birch and whatever. I mean, I grab basically whatever I can. Tree guy, I actually met him this year, and he does tons and tons of tree work, and we talk, and I'll tell him, hey, you know, feel free to bring me a load of pine, or feel free to bring me a load of maple or oak or whatever. And if he throws in a log of pine, I'll never say no to it, because you can burn it inside. I have not had issues. I clean my chimney twice a year. If you are burning unseasoned wood, well, first thing, don't do that. Season your wood properly. But if you can't do that and you just have to burn unseasoned wood, clean your chimney more frequently. I would even say do it once a month. If you really burning like crap wood, you know, that's just not seasoned at all. If you have wood that's seasoned, you can get away with doing it once a year. You know, just burn away, do whatever you need to do. Burn pretty much any type of wood in your wood stove. I mean, you know, there are areas that only have certain types of wood, like softwoods and pine and stuff. In Massachusetts, I have access to pretty much any kind of wood I could possibly imagine, and I still burn pine. You know, it's free. People put it on the side of the road because they don't want it. There's actually someone that lives on my street that had a pine tree come down, and they just took all the rounds, they cut it up into firewood, and they said, please take it, and nobody was taking it, and I loaded up my truck and I took it, and burned it outside, and put part of it in my stacks to be burned inside. And it's just, there's still going to be those people that say, hey, you can't burn it inside, it's gonna blow up your stove and stuff like that, and it's not. You know, I've burnt it inside. My father, tons of people that I know have burnt it inside, and never had an issue. You know, I've looked at my chimney. I clean my chimney twice a year, well, I guess 3 times a year. I clean my chimney before the burn season, even though I clean at the end of the season. Clean my chimney before the burn season starts, in the middle of the season, and at the end of the season. The only reason I do it in the beginning of the season is because sometimes you might have like a bird or something like that you know, flies down your chimney, or they create like a bird's nest. I don't know, something might happen. It's just for peace of mind. I never get anything when I do it at the beginning. It's usually just like maybe a little bit of soot, but that's it. So also, get your chimney inspected once a year by a professional. I still do that, even though I still have my chimney cleaned by myself. I have him come out. If he says, hey, you know, I just want to run a brush down there really quick, by all means, do it. Ultimately, I like to, and that bird hates me. I like to clean my chimney, I guess 3 times a year, in the beginning, middle, and at the end. That's really it. But you can burn pine inside. Burn it inside, do whatever you want to do. You know, there's still going to be people that say, you know, you can't burn it inside, and it's just the end of the world, and, you know, all that stuff. I've seen it online, I've seen it on YouTube videos. It's just going to clog up your chimney, and no. Unseasoned wood clogs up your chimney. Burning really low fires, create creosote, blows up your chimney. That's what's going to cause issues. You know, you're going to get chimney fires if you burn really low fires. That will create creosote, and ultimately will lead to chimney fires. If you're burning pine, I mean, the biggest thing I do, I burn my stove hot for the most part. Overnight, I'll obviously lower it, but during the day, it's burning hot the whole time, so we'll burn off whatever extra stuff is created at night. But I've never had issues. I've never really had issues. The only time I really had issues was when I was just stupid and I bought wood that was unseasoned, and I was trying to burn it, and you know, I had little embers coming out of my stack, and it wasn't a chimney fire, there weren't any issues, but I had it cleaned and there was some creosote and stuff. And so yeah, that was my main thing. But now I'm seasoning my own wood. If it's not seasoned, I'm the only person that I can blame. That's it. And I'm also getting wood that is, you know, the correct size and to create the correct length that I need it to be so I can actually put it in my stove. Moral of the story, if you see pine on the side of the road, pick it up, cut it, put it in your stack. You can use it. It's free wood. Tons of people hate it. And I've gotten to a point where if I go pick up a bunch of pine from somebody and they say, you know, oh, don't burn it inside or whatever, I'll sometimes educate them on what I think. Sometimes you can't change people's minds. They just, you know, God, these birds will not burn pine inside, and they will not think about, you know, opening their minds to, you know, burning pine inside. And that's fine, because at the end of the day, I get the free wood, they get it out of their house or their yard or wherever they have it, and there aren't any issues. That's my thing. I will take whatever free wood I possibly can, and if I can't use it inside, I'll burn it outside. I'm gonna close out this video before, you know, it gets too long. But moral of the story, burn pine inside if you want to. If not, you know, do whatever you want to do. That's perfectly fine. Obviously there's better woods out there, but I will take it if it's free. You come across people that, you know, you want to educate, that's perfectly fine. Sometimes I don't, because, you know, they'll call me later on and say, hey, I got more pine, do you want it? And I'll say, heck yeah, I do. So yeah, but I'm gonna close out the video here, guys. Hope you enjoyed, and I will catch you in the next one. Peace.